time for
In August 1998, Jay was a bad thing. One reason she never really fit in. They always said she shouldn't be listening to this type of music. Maybe she should be in these places. She was in gymnastics for a very long time. She was becoming less of herself to make them more comfortable, to fit in that box they wanted her to be in. And that was not truly who she was. She was brilliant. She's always been beautiful. But she never really fit in with the other kids. She was always the outlier. Her most ambitious and musically diverse release, filled with playful and melodic sides without skipping or hard in hip-hop. The mixtape won, obviously, the Grammy, and people keep hitting her with industry plant allegations. First of all, Doechii is no industry plant. She has been grinding for music for over a decade at this point. Not over a decade, but at least 9 years. If you go on the YouTube channel, check 9 years ago, she's been grinding her YouTube or music for at least 9-10 years. From the bottom, track after track, EP after EP, grinding it like any independent artist has to grind. And now she's mainstream, she's the top of the industry, she won a Grammy, and her face is inescapable, she is inevitable. She worked hard for it. She has substance, she has bars, she has everything to make a great hip-hop artist. And just saying, she's better than Ice Spice. She's better, like, fuck Ice Spice, man. Fuck Ice Spice, to be honest. Ice Spice is trash. I always thought she was trash. I never made a video on Ice Spice because I would be shitting on her from the beginning of the documentary to the end of the documentary, because Ice Spice is ass cheeks, disgusting ass music. But Doechii is phenomenal. She reminds me of Tyler, the Creator, in a lot of ways, and she's one of the artists who genuinely started from the bottom, and now she is at the top of the music industry forever. And she's released multiple singles, EPs, and her EPs are phenomenal. A bit of R&B soul inspired, also some hip hop EPs, and her discography is amazing. Not really any misses, and she understands music. She's a student of the game. She studied hip hop for years upon years, and she knows exactly what she's doing.
Rap is about having heart. It's not about a fucking formula. It was never about that. It's about us just expressing ourselves freely. When I started trying to do all that other shit and making music for the club, making music for this, whatever, girl, that is weak. It's lame. Loser! Sorry.
Fast forward me 2023. I'm stacking lots of cheese and making money.
Hi, I'm Doechii, and this is The Breakdown. A little bit of a backstory. I was originally working on an album before I was working on a mixtape. The distinction between an album and a mixtape to me is about limitation versus freedom. I think this could have been an album, 100%. But when you use words like album, there are certain politics and things that come with that. Whereas with a mixtape, it is just like historically known for you to have no limitations. And so that's what this project was all about, which is why I was like, let's just do a mixtape. I want to just be able to cry and scream and color and scribble all over it and not have to worry about perfection, and just be able to detach myself from this idea of the perfect project. So many things changed. I literally changed in this studio. And so there's like just shedded skin all over the place. I woke up one day and I felt very ready to stop being codependent on my label. And when I say that, I mean like codependent on their opinions, codependent on their approval, codependent on their advice even. I realized that what works for everybody else doesn't work for me. And I don't think that I fit into any type of particular formula that can just be recreated a whole bunch of times. I'm forever evolving. And once I detached from codependency, I was able to be like, I don't think I want to even do an album. I don't think I'm actually even ready for that. I'm ready for a mixtape, and I'm ready to be raw, and I'm ready to tell my story my way, and I don't want any hands in the pot. And I made that call, I made that decision, but it also represented a decision that I made in myself to be dependent upon God within me. I was just fed up with doubting myself, you know? And you doubt yourself when you have convinced yourself that something outside of you is gonna get you somewhere. And that lie that I was believing for a long time was getting too heavy for me to carry. And I was like, I genuinely can't do it anymore. I don't care. I'm snatching a wig off and we're gonna do this. I have to do it now or else it ain't never gonna get done, and I'm not letting nobody take my dream. Period. It's interesting because when sequencing this album, I knew, mixtape. When sequencing the mixtape, I was like, I'm going to remove all the formula of how things should be sequenced, right? Usually people are like, we need to put the hits at the top, put the bigger songs, more commercial songs at the top, give them something creative in the middle. And I was like, I denounce all formula right now. Let's do what feels good. And let's also tell the story in order. Even the first track, the intro track, Stankapoo, the first bar is, let's start the story backwards. So I'm prioritizing in my sequence and in my mixing just the stages of which I went through things, when I overcame them, and then we can celebrate and be on bullshit at the end of the project. But we need to heal first. There was a point in the mixtape, it was when I was starting to write Denial is a River. And I was really afraid of how raw and honest I was being in that record. And I know that a lot of my fans really, really love that record because I made it humorous, but it actually is very, very dark. It was inspired by a journal entry that I was writing where I was like, I'm just going to bluntly say my story. I'm not going to try to be metaphorical about it. I'm not going to try to be like artistic about it. We're just going to tell the story exactly how it happened in chronological order, but in a fun and humorous way. And that was one song where I was like, this is too much. I can't say all this. But then I was like, no, I need to. I was having a conversation with Jada, and she was like, other people are going through these things. They need to hear somebody talk about it. They need to hear somebody say it. And you got to be brave enough to say it. And I was like, all right, let's say it. My nigga DL. Sorry. Nobody's going through that? Like, just me? Catch it! But the girls who going through that, they like, yeah, me too. All 5 of us. So this is Jada Love. This is my engineer, and she mixed, but also in a way kind of executive produced this entire project with me and helped me sequence and organize it. She's extremely talented.
Hi, y'all.
I was here for Denial is a River, and I had already written the rap, but I was like, do I want to do like a whole musical type of script with it as well and really take it there on some like Slick Rick children's story type of vibe? And I was like, yes, I do want to do that.
She was like, follow me, I'm about to do this intro. Don't like, just hear me out. And then did the like, what's up, Doechii? And I was just like, oh, yucky, are we doing that again? And it just kind of flowed into the rest of the song. But it was really, really fun to record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
I've been getting some calls. People are a little bit worried about you.
Not worried.
And I know that I was kind of that outlet for you, so
You were.
why don't you just tell me what's been going on?
Okay.
I needed another character to walk me through this. This song is really just like people hearing how I am, the inner dialogue that I'm having with myself. Like, okay, maybe you should really unpack that. No, I'm not. This is an inner dialogue that I'm having with the voices in my head. It just seems like I'm less crazy because I do it with a funny voice.
I wasn't surprised to hear how honest she was. The only surprising factor of it was just how quickly it came about. But the contents of the song, no, were not surprising at all.
So I called the label and I was like, I am dropping a mixtape on August 30th. Do what y'all gotta do with that information. This is happening. Then they were like, okay, girl, what's the rollout? And I was like, I'm just gonna write a song a day and I'm gonna film to it, and whatever comes of that is what's gonna come of that, and that's the rollout. they were like, well, do you have the songs? And I was like, no, I'm going to make it today. We'll see what happens. And that's literally how it went. And I dropped the mixtape, and I was like, whatever I get out of this month is what I get. So I better write my ass off. And I did. When I got signed early, I was coming into having no money to being in a completely different tax bracket and state. Then that year turned into 2 years, and then the 2 years turned into 3 years, and I'm making music, and I'm not unpacking. I've lost friends. I've lost family. I am shedding my old self. I'm used to operating out of a place of survival, and I'm not taking time to unpack it. And so when I said, fuck it, I was just like, yeah, I know, but, well, moving on. We still got other stuff to do. I'll deal with that when it all builds up inside of me and I explode. I'm just gonna wait till I explode. Really, that explode happened to be kind of my sobriety in a way. It turned into that. That was my version of like, all right, I'm gonna let everything go. I'm letting everything go. I'm getting sober. I'm not talking to nobody. I'm not talking to my label. I'm finna be in my house. I'ma paint and I'ma write, and I'm not talking to anybody. That's me exploding when I exclude myself and I shut down and I get in my hermit. Yeah. I want to talk about a realization that I've had, which is I have to make music for therapy and for me. That's my formula. And to kind of tie it in a little bit, there is a formula for songs. There's a formula for radio. There's a formula for TikTok. There's a formula for all these spaces, pop, even hip hop. What noise is that out there? Sorry.
The other studio?
That's creativity.
Is that gonna pick up?
That's creativity.
I hear it, but we're in a studio, so it feels like
Okay.
it's like
Let's tell. They're in the room. I'll be just a second. Oh, I got it.
Go ahead.
12 seconds later.
Gotta turn the music down in the studio. Damn, I was making a point and I lost it.
formula.
Your formula.
But in me realizing that there's a formula for everything, fucking hell, I had it.
Yeah, you're cooking.
I was cooking.
Yeah.
Wait, say the question one more time. Fuck the formula. Fuck the balance. I just have to make music for me. I just gotta make music for me, and I make my best work when I'm not thinking about a formula, and when I'm not trying to follow nothing, and when I'm not listening to nobody, and when nobody cares, and when nobody's listening. I make the hardest thing ever, and if it blows up on TikTok, it blows up, but I can't make music from that place. It distracts me, and then I'm not able to tell the truth. Sometimes those formulas that fit for pop and radio and TikTok and the internet, and you're making music for moments instead of making music for therapy, you dilute your message, you dilute your creativity, you lose something, you lose the story because you're trying not to be lyrical miracle because pop sounds like this. This is how pop sounds. La 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 la, it's a hit. Who gives a fuck? Nobody knows who you are, nobody cares, nobody felt anything, nobody's life changed. And I'm here to feel something. That's my intention. You feel me? You can turn on Love Island every night, but when you want to feel something, you put on Malcolm X, one of the greatest movies of all fucking time. That's what I was trying to say.
I'm glad that you said that, because I think a lot of something that I've noticed is that people will use rap or hip hop as the not feeling genre, where it's like, when I really want to make real music, I'm gonna do country or alt rock or alternative or whatever, and it's just like, from where this genre was birthed.
It's been described as like a panic attack a couple of times. It's actually a style from beatboxing inspired by Doechii Fresh. A hip hop analyst would have recognized that. And so this was my attempt at that, inspired by Doechii Fresh. And I actually have a bunch of like really cool, funny takes of me getting to this take. It was crazy, and I want to play it for you.
Alright, let's go. Alright.
I get the idea right there. I do that, and then I'm like, oh shit, let me just try that again.
No.
We'll do one more.
Let me see this one. It's just laughing.
I did woosah because in my head I was like, oh my god, this is gonna flow perfectly into Catfish. It's gonna be great. But then I was like, what if the beat keeps going and I keep doing like woosah and then I say the lyrics of Catfish and then it comes in and Jada was like, bro, no, don't do that. She was like, just bring the song in. And so yeah, I did it intentionally so that it could flow into the sequence. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm building a sequence now. I think I'm starting to get it. First half of the project is very like locked into boom bap. And I was like, I'm finna rap. Y'all are gonna get it. Like hard, back to back, keep rapping. And even when I did allow some opinions to come in, because the boys on the label, they were like, nah, you gotta space it out. Don't put it all back to back. And I was like, shut up. Absol, do you know the mixtapes that this label has bred? Shut up. We're gonna rap. It's gonna be fantastic. Sit tight.
Wristwatch, drip drop, label want the TikToks. Now I'm making TikTok music. What beef?
What?
They did have valid, they came in with valid points, but it was also like the sequence intention was feeling.
Yes.
And it was also narrative. These all make sense. They're not going to make sense if we put this after slide.
Yes.
Like, it's not like it was also like 3 days before we had to turn it in.
Right.
And it was like, we got it now. We got it. Like, this feels good.
And they were like, don't give it to him like that. Just spread it. I'm giving it to him like that.
It was not a lot of time to do a lot of things. And my boy Brian Schwaller came and helped us out a lot towards the end, like the last 3 days, to help mix stuff. But it was like, they're off camera, but their 2 chairs were put together. She brought a comforter from her house, a pillow, a teacup Pomeranian puppy was just running around. And it was just her passed out, me mixing, turning around, waking her up, being like, hey, does this sound good? Yeah, that sounds good. Went back to sleep, next song. And it was just kind of like that for like the last 72 hours.
Yeah.
And then we turned it in. I'm so tired.
It was very intense.
Crashed.
And even like having to re-record things or like I started my period. Like, girl, it was really stressful. And then you have Musa, Top Son. I think you should put this song there. You should put this on. Bro, I haven't slept in 2 days. The album has to be turned in 1 day. Stop talking to me right now, please. No last minute changes. He got his pick though. He wanted Fireflies. I didn't care for Fireflies, but I was like, whatever. And I didn't want Beverly Hills either, and that was Jada's pick, and I was like, that's fine.
I was like, please put this on the record. Like, please.
I was like, no, let's just do 2 more rap songs. Like, we don't need this. Nobody needs this.
The certain part of your fan base, this is going to scratch that itch. I'm like, just like these songs, like Wait Girlies and Beverly Hills, I'm like, this is that genre of like me. This is me. I'm telling you, this is going to scratch an itch. I promise you. Please
Yeah, for the
keep this
fans
on.
who like when I sing and then like when I get melodic, I was like, that's fine. They can live with that because I have 18 other rap songs, so I'm not tripping. I am really delighted and blessed to see people consuming the music the way that I intended for them to consume it. I love seeing how my fans are doing yoga to the project. They're journaling to it. I see them using the music over their vlogs and their journal entries and things like that, and that's the purpose of it. I just wanted to make music that puts you in a state of groundedness and makes you feel confident in your solitude, and people are really embracing it that way, and I think that that's good. Wow, it's only been a month. This is really, I feel so blessed by that. Like, sometimes I'm very hard on myself about where I am, but my project is, I feel blessed. It hasn't been that long. I need to be more patient with myself. I'm going to say something, but I want to say it directly to, like, the camera because I feel like there's going to be, like, some up-and-coming artist who really needs to hear this. You have to have somebody next to you that can remind you of who you are when you're doing these things because people who have been doing it longer than you will sometimes try to convince you that you don't know what you're talking about. And if you allow those voices even a little bit to get in the way, you can doubt yourself. And doubt breeds chaos. And so still be a student.
How did Doechii go from the bottom where she was to now she's at the very tip top of the industry? Well, it all started when she started dropping freestyles on her channel, freestyles, some acapella, and her first single on SoundCloud under her old SoundCloud account, under another name, but it still says I am Doechii. So yeah, she dropped her first single. The name of the single is Cody Out the Roof with a Chop. It's actually a pretty good song, but the mixing is not as good as Doechii of now. The melodies are actually good. The bars are they're okay, nothing crazy, but it's a good song nonetheless. And this was the beginning of Doechii's career. She went on later on to release Lil Mark in the Cut, That's a Scary Night, Scary Sight. You know, she was really into the alternative scene, and these are kind of songs you'd see in the alternative hip hop scene. Then she went more professional 7 years ago with Girls, the single Girls, and this single actually went a little bit viral at the time. Then 6 years ago she released Sail You Rough 1/2, which is, I think it's a half track, and Death Note, which was just a basic pop song like Lady Gaga, or she went to release Spooky Coochie, which is the classic Doechii name, and yet it went viral 4 years ago. Her first actual super viral hit on TikTok, Yucky Blocky Fruitcake. This song threw her into the mainstream to an extent. It threw her directly headfirst into mainstream. It wasn't really mainstream, but people knew who Doechii was right now. It was more of a pop inspired song than the EP All the Places You Go dropped immediately after that. It's a 5 to 6 song EP, about a 6 song EP, which did pretty well, and yeah, she really killed it, to be honest. Then she released Braless, I Am Doja, Braless, another EP, which is, I think, is YouTube exclusive. Then she was trying to really go super mainstream with a song Persuasive featuring SZA, another single Crazy, which is more of just a bouncy club hip hop song, and Bitch I'm Nice dropped 2 years ago, which is actually a very, very good song. Then she released another EP, or a bit of a 3-pack. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Then she released an epic single with Kodak Black, What It Is. It went super viral, and she was getting closer to the mainstream. It was a progressive leap to the mainstream. It wasn't really just a single that brought her, oh, everyone knows Doechii. It was progressive, slow but steady. She kept dropping. Alter Ego with JT went super viral. She dropped 2 singles, MPH and Rocket. I was before Alligator Bites Never Heal. Then the rollout for Alligator Bites Never Heal started with Nissan Altima. At this point, her name was already popping in the industry, and she was about to have the biggest run of her entire life. Then the single Boom Bap, then yeah, the mixtape dropped 6 months ago, and Doechii's life changed forever. She got a hit record, Denial Is a River, which 10 out of 10 song, 10 out of 10. You can't tell me not. This song is an absolute banger. She got a lot of hits on this mixtape, so many hit records: Nissan Altima, Catfish, Slide, Skip, Bloom, Death Row, Hide and Seek, and many more. The mixtape went super viral. It beyond virality, it was a mixtape of substance, a mixtape of true expression, and a mixtape of Doechii showing how versatile she is, who she is, and expressing herself to the best of her ability. And it shows true evolution that Doechii had to go through to get to where she is. Now she's at the top of the industry. She's no industry plan. She is Doechii. Doechii embodies the idea that we all can make it one day. We all can make it big into this industry, whatever we want to do, whether music, film, dance, business, whatever you want to do, that we all can make it. But sacrifices must be made. Consistency is your superpower. Tenacity is your strength, and being able to bounce back from failure will be the biggest skill you can ever acquire in your entire life. Because Doechii failed so many times, but she bounced back like nothing happened, dusted herself off, and kept pushing. Now she's at the top. She's number one. Who can match Doechii right now? No one. Because of consistency, tenacity,